Story time with Uncle Brady. It was when I was a waiter many years ago. Some lady said, "I'd like to order a lobster tail, please." I said, "Sure." Once upon a time, there was a very handsome lobster from a faraway land. Am I getting worse? Bit shellfish telling that sort of humour. I didn't do it on purpose. I do have a lobster story though, analogy. You might know that lobsters shed their shells. When they're young, it's like 3 or 4 times a year. When they get older, they still shed them, called moining or something like that, about once a year. They just get so uncomfortable, they just outgrow. They just get into a bigger space and outgrow their shell, and so they lose that shell. And we, us humans, lose our metaphorical shells too, or at least we should. We just enter a bigger space and grow emotionally and physically, well, not physically, that's not the analogy here, but emotionally and spiritually as well, and it gets too uncomfortable, and so we shed our shells. Well, most people do. Some people cling to their stubbornness and weakness, and ultimately sort of they're just scared and in fear, but most of us got to shed our shells, and it's scary. It is. It's uncomfortable. And to be fair, a lot of us cling to it as well, as long as we can, don't we? It's pretty uncomfortable letting go of all those old beliefs and bullshit thought patterns and thinking, and some of those old people and their old ways, and it's scary, but we have to, and we do. And it's scary moving into that new soft shell, feeling a bit vulnerable after you've stepped out of your comfort zone and into the new shell while you're figuring out what foundation you're standing on and building that new self. Feel a bit vulnerable in that, especially when you're getting resented by the people who won't grow. We've seen that, haven't we? And it's worth bearing in mind that the word resent means resent. They're only resenting their own reflection in you. Just their reflection resent in you. They're just resenting you for their lack of growth. But anyway, I digress. It does seem like sometimes almost you're going backwards, and we all know that feeling, don't we? When we feel like we've come so far and we've taken so much responsibility and stood in so much integrity, and we're still back here again. But it's not. I'm here to tell you, you've grown out of that old shell and you're standing in your new shell. It just might look like you've gone backwards because you're feeling a bit vulnerable in it. You've done great. Good on you. Just getting in a bigger space, but the whole world now, isn't it? Losing its shell. Bigger space, the world, everyone in it, individuals, not everyone, but individuals losing their shell. Structures losing their shell. The world itself losing their shell. And it looks a bit crazy and it looks a bit vulnerable and it's definitely uncomfortable, but that's what's happening right now. And some people are still holding on to it, whether it's Barry from number 44 Smith Street who's dobbing on people, or these elites who look like they're running the world and think they're elite, and everywhere in between, they're just withering in their old shell and they'll vaporise into insignificance. I know it doesn't look like that either, but some people are clinging to their old shells and forget them. The rest of us, moving forward. And you've come so far, and you might think, well, am I? Try this. This is the best thermometer for how much you've changed. When a familiar situation happens to you, that 5 years ago or whatever, you would have acted completely differently to. Like someone cutting you off in the traffic, or a person saying something to you in a certain way, where 5 years ago or whatever, you might have lost your shit. But now you've got a completely different reaction. That's a pretty good thermometer, isn't it? Look how far you've come. If that's your reaction to that now compared to what it used to be, then you are a completely different person. Sometimes you just don't know how much you've grown because you've either grown so incrementally or so significantly so quickly that we don't have the points of reference. We don't even really know. You've done good. I'm here to tell you, I'm proud of you for what it's worth. Don't even know you, probably. Proud of you. Good on you. It's been difficult, but you've stood staunch and you've done your best. None of us are perfect. Well done. How do we build this new shell? Because this is a big one, isn't it? Not only have we shed our own emotional shells, but the world's doing it at the same time. We're all doing it together. What does it look like? How are we going to do this? This is unprecedented. Let me give you some advice. Some advice that someone gave me once. When you're in a predicament, or you need to make a decision, or you just want to get some perspective on something, imagine yourself in 30 or 40 years, or however old you are, as an 80 or a 90-year-old person. You, sitting in a rocking chair in 30 or 40 years, looking back on you now. What advice would you give to yourself? What perspective would you have? What would you do? It's pretty good. It's pretty good exercise, actually. It works really well. And you're right 100% of the time. That's the answer. What are you going to do? What is working? How are we going to build this new world? Because we do. Those old shells are gone. I know how crazy it looks, but the world is not being overtaken by technocrats and we're going to all shrivel up and die and be overtaken in a virtual prison. No, it's not happening. Another story. Double story time with Uncle Brady. You might have heard this story before. There's a fisherman And every time before he went out to go fishing, he'd pray to God and he'd say, please God, protect me and save me and keep me safe. And anyway, one day he went out and his boat capsized, overturned. And he was sitting on the hull upside down and praying, and a boat came along and tried to save him. And he said, no, don't worry, God's going to save me. So the boat left. Another boat came along. Same thing. Don't worry, God's going to save me. Got a direct line. Third boat. Same thing. And they left. And then he ended up drowning. And so he got to the pearly gates. And I'm not religious. This isn't a religious story. Got to the pearly gates and said to God, what happened? You said you were going to keep me safe. You didn't save me. He said, what do you mean? I sent you 3 boats. So what are the boats staring us in the face right now? What are we going to do? We've got to believe in ourselves, and we've got to believe in each other, and we've got to believe in the universe. We're not just rolling over and giving over our country and our world and our kids, are we? So what are we going to do? And what are the boats that are coming along? I tell you this, a stand in the park works. It might look insignificant, it might look unsuspecting, but it works. It's worked brilliantly over the last 5 years. It's done so much. Nothing happens. If you don't know about stand in the park, then 10 to 11 a.m. every first Sunday of the month, people gather in parks. We're yellow in unity, just get together, it's just a cup of coffee, that's all it is. And we stand for truth and for freedom. And I started in August 2020, and it was obviously the underlying motivator was just standing against mandates and against lockdowns and against the lies and agenda and stuff like that. But I always made sure we were standing for truth and for freedom. We were growing into the new shell, not fighting the old shell. If you've probably figured out by now, the cost of living, it's the psychopathic corporations who are making all this money while we can't feed our kids, this attack on farmers, that COVID was a lie, the vaccinations are the reason that all the people that you know are maimed, that this gender war on kids and this environmental gaslight and all this division is all linked. We all know that. We do need to move our bodies. We are standing for our new shell, but we do need to move our bodies. This is one of the boats, and this is one of the things that your 80-year-old self would tell you. It's not a protest, but we've got to go stand down there. We've got to move our bodies. And the stand in the park was always designed to be a safe space. We'd have physical energy exchanges, maintain a presence, a physical line in the sand of an energetic pinpoints. We'd be a support for each other, and it's done so many things. It's saved so many lives. So many initiatives have started from it. If the internet went down, then we'd know where to find each other, or the power grid. We'd show our numbers. There's no leaders, no agenda, no religion. It's a safe space where it's linear. I'm not the leader of Stand in the Park. I just started it. And show our numbers. And all of those things have been absolutely imperative to the people who've been down there on equal levels. It's so important that we do all of those things. Have to do something. One thing your 80-year-old self would say, well, do something. And if you've got better ideas, then go do it. We're on your side. Brilliant. What if there's more lockdowns? What are we going to do? How do we band together? Where do we start? It's a stand in the park. That's the first port of call. When you wake up, go down. If you've just woken up and you're realising this dude's onto something, go down there. We've got to connect in the physical. We've got to make friends. We've got to grow into the new shell. And in this world of AI and media nonsense and politicians that are full of hot air, and how do we not even know what's real anymore? We've got to connect in the physical. This has to happen in the physical. It's imperative. Sharing online is not enough, and being online is not enough. And when we do connect on a big enough level in the physical, that's all we have to do. The action takes itself. Go to standinthepark.org, see your local location. If there's not one, start one for next month. Very important. Everyone who's been there will vouch for it. And send us some photos. You've got to help us sort of market it, for want of a better word. It's just me with these videos and FiFi and Marina and just doing our best. And I did lobster once, but then I flounder. Brady.